I'm Lyka Williams, and I would love to present to you my graduate thesis project, Encoded, the Back-End Data Experience. To begin my research, I began learning more about Gen Alpha being the first generation to be entirely born in the 21st century. And with that, the problem arose that they lacked the ability to consent to our data-driven world. The opportunity presented itself to provide a solution in terms of consumer choice via hyper-personalization to cultivate long-term brand loyalty amongst this new generation. My approach for this particular project was to add awareness and discovery to the consumer experience by understanding both the history of the digital age and pop-up marketing. And as a result, this experience empowers visitors to unapologetically reclaim their digital narratives as a way to weigh both their appeal of personalization versus that of the end of privacy. So the overall overview of the subject matter is futures literacy in consumer culture via hyperpersonalization. But what is futures literacy? In layman terms, it's the ability and skill set for one to assess and realize what's in the present, and then apply that in one sense to identify what could happen in the future. The interpretive approach, therefore, is to empower consumers to weigh their data currency as they navigate the age and ease of personalization versus that of their data rights. And the venue selected was the High Line, which is an elevated public rail park, including both areas of Chelsea Market Passage, the Sun Deck, as well as 14th Street Passage. My overall target audience catered towards Black, Indigenous people of color of the Gen Alpha cohort, as well as the BIPOC cohort of Gen Z. And the tertiary market is tourists and visitors along the High Line, understanding that they are also meandering through the park zone, so allowing for them to participate in the event as holistically as possible. Wow, with that, the client and partners that are affiliated with this project range in consumer-facing research and policy, as well as big tech supports. So Black Market Fleet is the main consumer-facing partner. They are a cultural experience that places Black businesses and vendors on the forefront. And Epic is our research-based and policy-based partner, whereas Mozilla and Firefox serve as currently the most private search engine online and available to the market. So they serve as our big tech support partners, being that they prioritize privacy in their mission and values. The overall goals of my exhibition is to make the consumer the hero of the brand experience, and particularly distinguishing that through the balance between the ultimate freedom of choice and the convenience of personalized algorithmic decision-making. With that, the experience is broken down into 9 main quadrants, and you can see how that is outlined here on the overall floor plan of the High Line, taking into consideration in considering the 3 areas that we are encompassing. I wanted to leave half of those zones available and open so that we didn't impede on the circulation of the High Line. The overall visitor journey is dual-ended. So from left to right, we have visitors 1 journey, and that's coming from 14th Street to Chelsea Passage. That culminates in big tech and small business perspectives of the back-end experience of data collection. Whereas visitor 2 journey is a consumer perspective that focuses on hyper-personalization through rose-colored lenses. Now, as visitors are able to get a pre-visit strategy in place, coded posters are available in nearby subway stations that are adjacent to High Line's entryways. And the overall digital and graphic identity caters to the color breakdown of both the exhibition as well as the graphic paraphernalia that will be located throughout our different posters. As visitors arrive at the High Line, they will be able to navigate to the exhibition through various wayfinding structures. The first begins here through our slender profile, allowing for it to be freestanding along the High Line without impeding the overall circulation of the congestion of the High Line's 8 million annual visitors. And the next directional wayfinding incorporated is floor graphics to allow that linearity on the ground plane visually to entice visitors to continue on their path to the overall exhibition. Now, in considering the overall visitor journey, for the sake of this presentation, we will combat visitor 1 journey. So we will begin at 14th Street Passage. Upon arrival, visitors will be able to access a geolocated pop-up notification on their phone, as well as physically on site, where it will ask them if they would like to opt in or opt out of allowing Encoded to track their usage and experience throughout the overall exhibition. Through this, visitors who opt in receive the enhanced experience, and it will be data-driven through their personalized content, whereas visitors who opt out will receive the core experience and will really leverage the use of our available docents to have human-to-human personalization. Now, the introduction to the overall content of the exhibit is phased in our first entry point through our freestanding portals that has both perspectives of big tech as well as the consumer perspective on either panels. Upon the interiormost panel, we have the display of Black Market Flea vendors to really introduce the artisan and craftsmanship of the vendors as well. Now, in doing a visitor study, I realized that being that the High Line is open in the evening, there is a need for illumination within all of the structures. So for this one in particular, there is an illuminated base channel detail for the acrylic to allow for visitors to have ease in reading the legibility of the content and evening hours. And a visual of precedent examples is also incorporated so you could understand how that would look in a real life manner. As visitors arrive to the next most area in the overall exhibit, they're introduced to Black Market Flea through rare screen projections. As they enter into the space, they can hear, watch, and understand the first-person perspectives from small business owners within Black Market Flea, relaying why they utilize algorithmic personalization to offer better online experiences with their consumers. On days Black Market Flea events are live, visitors will also be able to watch the live stream of the event, as well as vendor clips from the overall event as well. Next up is our retail shoppable zone. Now visitors are able to really see the craftsmanship highlighted through infinity mirror displays, and QR code entryways offer personalization content where recommendations will pop up on their digital devices, and co-creation elements are embedded where they can rank and rate based off of their likes and dislikes, so it can really better the algorithm behind the metrics. The interiormost panel fosters the retail shoppable zones, and here similarly the tags are integrated so that visitors can have the same experience. Now, staff are available at these shoppable zones, both for users who opted in for the digital experience, as well as those who opted out, so that we could have humans available to them for any needs that may pop up. Now, as visitors exit and they enter into the sun deck portion of the venue, they will be met by provocative questions placed on these graphic panels that circumvent the allure of personalization through the subject matters of consumers, companies, as well as technology and private data. So each panel integrates QR codes linked to the microsite, so visitors will be able to have access to the responses and further information about all the questions posed on each of the panels. As visitors meander through the centralmost version, they will be able to see and they are met by our gamified entry point. Visitors are able to scan the QR code for entry, and they'll be able to access the live metaverse version of the event where they too can transform or transition into their online avatar. Now, as they are using their phone on the adjacent architectural structures to activate the gamified version, they will be able to click and select the various node trackers that exemplify the various tracker companies or organizations that happen in their digital shadows. And subtle questions are posed in terms of understanding consumers' comfortability level with the content so that we can gauge an understanding of how much information consumers are willing to give for personalization versus what is their base level expectation of uncomfortability when they want to be more private. Now, in order to continue on with the game, visitors will be able to meander throughout the other forms of the exhibit and search for hidden locks and collect all locks that are distributed throughout the overall experience. Once all are collected, they are able to receive exclusive event merchandise. This experience is partnered with Epic, who will be able to utilize that data to really transform it into some form of privacy and consumer data right reform that's needed here in the US. Now, as visitors move into Chelsea Passage, the first structure they are met by is a customization vintage denim station. However, all payment and selections in the booth are of personal data. Visitors are therefore posed with the option of selecting their various metrics of their desires of customization by either giving their name, their address, and additional unorthodox questions are incorporated to generate contemplation, such as their pets' names, the last website they've browsed, etc. As visitors now move through the Chelsea Passage venue, they are met by our really large retail area where visitors who opted in can book one of our 2 digital fitting rooms, and visitors who opted out can access through QR codes or also the available mirror kiosks that offer the AI compatibility. Now here, visitors are paired with a Black Market Fleet vendor who provide customized recommendations. For visitors who opted in, they received recommendations based off of the data profiles created from their scans throughout the experience. Whereas visitors who opted out can utilize one of the adjacent mirror displays, and they will be able to rank and really determine their personalization metrics based off of their desires from the on-site kiosks available. Additional layer of uncomfortability is slightly added here to reinforce that notion of the lack of privacy through 2-way mirrors on the opposing ends. So visitors passing by can faintly see a glimpse of what is occurring on the interior, while visitors on the interior will have seldom or little to no understanding of what is occurring until they exit the overall entry point. Now, in the last overall exhibition freestanding structure, visitors can create a biometric face scan through our available kiosks to access their digital data day. Visitors who would not like to opt in to the face scan can opt out, and they will simply fill out a questionnaire that will generate the similar results. So each data profile will be matched based off of the results generated. And through that, as they enter into the interactive digital space, their face scan will be blown up and the nodes will therefore explode and really cascade around the room and quantify the various digital metrics in their data day. And these will also be interchangeable and reactive based off of how many users are in a room at the time to exemplify how your data is skewed based off of your proximity of others who feed off of your phone in close vicinity. As a keepsake collateral item, the face scan is then captured to be incorporated on our commemorative branded paraphernalia. Visitors are able to receive both a branded sweatshirt with their face scan as well as an exclusive event NFT for their digital avatar. Those who did not opt into the face scan will also have the opportunity to have branded merchandise just without the face scan included. Now, to add an additional educational value, the face scan pamphlet will also be mailed with all of these items so that visitors can understand just how much metrics and information is given to different companies from a simple face scan of the biometric data. And that concludes my overall run through of my exhibition experience. Thank you so much for taking the time and watching. Again, I am Lyka Williams, and this was Encoded, the Backend Data Experience. Wait, I hope that was 10 minutes. I'm tired.